What's up, gang, and welcome back to another YouTube video. Now we can start. This week, I have been absolutely obsessed with sensory deprivation tanks. That's right. For some reason, this week, I've been intensely wondering what it feels like. Now, I've never actually been in a sensory deprivation tank, but it was so busy at work this week, and I was so stressed out that I really was intrigued with the feeling of being inside one, because all I wanted to do was to get some rest this week, and I had zero chance to do that. I think it would be a really cool experience, just laying there with your thoughts, thinking about life, relaxing, maybe falling asleep. I've heard that people have crazy dreams in these, so I'm actually really curious as to what that would be like. If you've ever been in one, definitely write in the comments down below what that experience was like, because I'm genuinely super intrigued. Some people find it claustrophobic, but I don't know, I think it's kind of cool, just laying there with your thoughts, especially if the water's warm. I really hope it's warm, right? It's gotta be, right? It would suck if it's cold. Just laying there, chilling out, thinking about anything you want to. No one's bothering you. This is actually my dream. So this week, I decided to make a sound in Serum 2 that feels like being in a sensory deprivation tank. Without further ado, let's just get into it. I drew up some very simple MIDI over here. Let's initialize the preset so we can hear what that MIDI sounds like. So very simple stuff. That's just with the default Serum 2 saw being played. Without further ado, let's just get straight into the sound design. We're gonna stick to wavetable over here, but we're gonna go to Serum 2 tables, analog, and we're actually gonna pick the last table over here called 0 feels. Then go to the wavetable position and set this to 73. So it's mostly a sine wave, but it has a few upper harmonics that I really like. I tend to use this table when I get bored of using one of the straight sine wave tables. Now what we can do is add some random pan variation to this oscillator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this knob over here, go to mod source, note on alt. And then go to the matrix, make sure this is going both ways. And you can feel free to pull this knob over here if you feel like it's panning too much. Now what I want to do is I want to create some movement within our wavetable. So we can go to LFO1, pull these up like this, and just invert the LFO. Then I'm going to drag LFO1 to the wavetable position over here. I'm going to take it off BPM, go to Hertz, and set this to 0.8 Hertz to slow it down a little bit. And now I'm just going to drag this percent knob back to about 20%. So now we have some nice movement within our wavetable. Now I want to do some automation over here with this level knob for a little bit of extra movement. So we can use another LFO for that. Let's just go to LFO2, pull it over here. I'm going to take it off the quarter note setting, and let's do about 2 Hertz. So that's pretty cool, but what we can do to spice this up even more, because now it's just oscillating at the same exact tempo, 2 Hertz, we can add some movement to the LFO speed as well. So what we can do is we can go to an envelope over here, like envelope 2, pull this down and just drag it out, and then we can drag envelope 2 to the rate of LFO2. And now you'll hear that it starts fast and then slows down. I'm going to drag this to about 15-16%. And I'm actually going to decrease this even more to about 7% for the level. So with just a couple of those little things, we've now created a bunch of organic movement within our oscillator where there was absolutely none before. It really can be that simple. You really don't have to overdo it. And we can actually grab this LFO and drag it to our fine tuning over here. And I'm going to pull this to about 5% maybe, just to make it sound a little bit more organic. We can also do something with the coarse tuning over here. So we can go to LFO3, drag this over here, pull this down like this, drag it to the coarse tuning, and let's go to the matrix to make sure that this is only going one way, and then we can pull it down to about 1%. You can see if I pull it up, it's gonna add that laser sound. We don't want that, we just want just a little bit of it. And then I'm gonna change it from retrig to envelope. So it's barely audible, but I feel like it'll add some organicness to the oscillator. We can also raise our portamento here to like 2 milliseconds. maybe 3, 4. I'm really happy with how that's sounding. So now we can go ahead and modify our envelope slightly. So I'm going to change the attack time to 20 milliseconds. Decay can be elongated a little bit to 1.5 seconds. Then the sustain, we can drop about 10 dB, negative 10. Release can be anywhere from 200 to 300 milliseconds. Fantastic. Now we can go ahead and modify our filter. So I'm going to select the filter one to turn it on. We can leave it on MG low 12, turn key tracking on, and set the cutoff to about 309 hertz. I'm going to raise this resonance knob a little bit and the drive knob as well. And now we can add some subtle movement to the filter as well by using another envelope, which we can keep mostly the same. I'm just going to drag it out a little bit and just make this a straight line instead of it being curved. And I'm going to increase the release time just slightly. And then we can drag it to the cutoff over here and set the percentage to about 20%. So not doing a ton, just adding a little bit of extra movement to our sound. I find that automating a bunch of different little parameters is often more organic sounding than automating 1 or 2 parameters a lot, if that makes any sense. So I'm really enjoying how that's sounding. So now we can go ahead and add a bunch of effects. So let's go to the effects tab. We're just going to do some main effects today. The first effect we can add is a reverb. Let's change this to Hall, cut most of the lows out. So I'm going to just do 80. The size, let's increase a little bit to 44. The decay, let's increase quite a bit to like 8.8 maybe. And let's raise that mix knob up. Now I'm noticing that we don't have quite enough level going into the reverb as I would like. I'd like some more. And if you ever find yourself in the same situation, you can always add a utility. I'm just going to drag it to be before the reverb. And then right over here, you can actually boost the gain. So that way we're sending more signal into our reverb. Fantastic. Now we can add an EQ, and I'm going to use it to cut the lows and the highs. So let's adjust these Qs so they're not quite as spiky. The low we can set to about 100 hertz. I'm going to do 111. The top one somewhere around 2K. I'm just going to lower it a little bit. Next, we can go ahead and add a hyper dimension. I'm going to leave the dimension part alone and just raise the detune on the hyper part and the mix all the way. So that adds a really, really cool aspect to the sound. Next, we can add a chorus. I'm going to leave it on the default setting. Then we can add a phaser. I'm going to lower the mix to a little bit less than 50%. And then finally, we can add a bode. And the key knob on this effect is the blur knob, which I'm going to raise all the way up. Now, because this sound has quite a bit of movement to it, I'm going to add a compressor just to even it out a little bit. I'm going to leave it on single mode. And I'm just going to adjust the threshold until I see some good movement here. Great, so that's doing a lot of good work evening our sound out. And we can check up on the width of our sound using an imager. That's not too bad actually, but just in case, I'm going to add a final utility over here, and then we can just pull this width knob down to about 30%. And now we've made our sound a little bit more mono, maybe a little bit more mono compatible as well. And what you can actually do is drag one of these macro knobs over here, and I'm going to reset this to 50%, drag this down, and then now you have a mono knob over here that's just going to make your sound more mono. And this is really useful when it comes to mixing your productions or beats, where the sound is just going to work better in your production, more mono than stereo. But for now, I'm just going to make it a little bit more mono because it's not super, super wide anyway. So I'm really, really satisfied with how that's sounding. So why don't we take a look at the final little beat that I made. Over here, we have the sound we just made. Then for the B section, I added a little keyscape. It's the wing upright mono dark if you're interested. And I just panned it to the right. I bounced the audio for this little melodic line towards the end. And I'm using just a little compressor on that, a little Valhalla Supermassive, and just a low cut. For the bass, I'm using an Analog Lab preset. It is this SH101 bass, and then I simply dragged in a drum loop from Splice. Yeah, so why don't we just play the whole final production? that'll just about do it for this week's video. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking around. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. I've been working really hard these past couple of weeks to produce as many videos as I can because I love it and I love seeing you guys find some value in them. So please drop a comment down below if you enjoyed it. As always, in the description of this video, I have a link to my Gumroad page, which has a bunch of free resources on it. I'm talking Serum 2 presets, Afro House kicks, a Prophet 5V guide. If the Prophet synthesizer ever confused you, definitely check that out. It's going to clear everything up. That's all available for absolutely free from the link down below. Thank you so much again. I can't tell you how much your nice comments and support mean to me. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please do. I put out videos multiple times a week. So yeah, thank you so much again. Hope you enjoyed the video and have a great evening. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.